Very good afternoon, Principal Sir, my dear colleagues. Uh, Today, I'm very glad to welcome Mr. Tapan Barman Sir to present his view in constructivism in the classroom. So, I would be very glad if Sir will share his point of views in this topic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, respected principal sir, and my fellow participants who have taken out valuable time to be here in this webinar. And thank you, our school management, that school management is organizing that kind of webinar smoothly and very nicely. And thank you who are helping me to deliver my thought to all of you. And thank you everyone again to be here. Okay, let's start today's session. So I have taken one topic, and that one you can see on your screen. So that is constructivism in the classroom, or constructivism. So I just wrote over here. So meaning of constructivism. So in general way we know construct. So construct, that means to build something. We always build something upon something. So just like that only, there are some psychologists, renowned psychologists, for example, Piaget, then Gray, Audrey. These are some peoples so who thought about that matter deeply, and they brought out some kind of thought which was never thought earlier, and they in total gave that name that is constructivism. So constructivism, so that means when we make something upon something in total, but in the field of knowledge or in the field of classroom, so we take meaning of it in different way. Suppose if a child or any persons, okay, let's take an example of a child, so it would be better for us to understand about the child. So when a child, his brain is totally blind, so he is not having that much knowledge regarding the society, like anything like anything else. So he's thinking naively. So he went in a classroom, and from there he learned something. So how did that child learn something? When we don't know anything regarding any matter, or we don't have any kind of perceptions, so we cannot achieve any kind of knowledge. So we learn something from our previous knowledge. When we gain something, and again we are utilizing that particular knowledge to enhance our knowledge to enhance our knowledge is called constructivism. So I tried my best to say what is constructivism. So if we say, or if I say in different way, then that would be constructivism is a view. So constructivism is a view of learning based on belief. So it's some kind of based on belief that knowledge is not a thing that can be simply given. So knowledge is not a simple thing which can be given simply to anyone else. That can be simply given by the teacher. So that can be given by the teacher. So suppose by the teacher, as I said, so by the teacher, so that means whenever we enter into our class, suppose I'm teaching class, otherwise phrase like that kind of thing, and that child, that student does not know meaning of clause. Even he doesn't have knowledge of finite verb. So if that child doesn't know finite verb, then whenever I would explain meaning of a sentence or what are the things needed in a sentence, and what are the things needed in a sentence to construct, so he won't be able to recognize like which one is subject, which one is verb. If he would have been familiar with these things, what is like subject, because that knowledge is given or that kind of information is given in class 5, 6, 7, if okay like 5, 6, okay, in class 5, 6. So he skipped that knowledge. So whenever I'm going to teach that student, so at that time he won't be able to understand because of his okay lack of knowledge. If that child would have been familiar with this, okay, with this information, then that child or student would have been succeeded in understanding of like clause. So like that only, so I said, so given by the teacher at the okay at the front of a room to students in their desk. So whenever we give something to their desk, so it is not everything. So we should do what? We should provide knowledge. As we know, knowledge is constructed by learners through. So knowledge is constructed by learners through an active mental process. So if I keep taking that class, that student doesn't understand anything, his participation is not involved, like I'm describing something and that student is not understanding anything. So he would be very bored. So he would feel very bored and he unwillingly that student will be sitting in the class. So active participant won't be happened there. So when that student would be an active participant, then only so a teacher would be able to provide knowledge or to give knowledge. Okay, so through an active mental process of development, learners are the, and even whenever I would be able to give my message to that student, and that student will receive that knowledge and he could mixed up his or her own knowledge with the new knowledge, and intermingling them, that student would make some kind of new thought or new ideas. So he will bring up some kind of, or he or she will bring up new idea, so which is not seen or which is not thought earlier. So obviously that thought could be much more complex than the before, as he is mixing up many information together and making one kind of knowledge or putting them in reason and logical mind. So that's way he is in another level than the earlier. So that way he builds and creates of meaning and knowledge. So and after that, whatever I try to make him out that student, whatever I tried to make him out that student, so his knowledge and my knowledge including them, he would make his own new idea or new knowledge. So that way he would make his own. So that means whatever I have said or whatever message I have given that boy, it doesn't matter. He will make his own idea or own thought, his own knowledge. Okay, and after that,
এখন আপনার নিজের দোকানে বাংলা বুঝে বাংলা আর সব বিভিন্ন ভাষায় পাশের বাড়ির স্বাদ আছে পাশের বাড়ি
okay, Ashwani sir.
তোমার চাই কেশ কিংশন বিয়ের আসন এতে আছে অ্যালোভেরা আর 21টি জড়িবুটি যা শরীরকে
Ashwani sir.
হেয়ার ফল থামায় আর কেশ কিং শ্যাম্পু এখন 2 টাকায়, এখন 40 টাকার বড়
Ashwani sir.
বিনামূল্যে।
So have I been able to deliver my meaning? Would you please respond?
ভারতের সবচেয়ে শক্তিশালী
Okay, let's move on. So I did not get any answer. I'll try my best. Okay, thank you. Someone has. Okay, let's move on then. So constructivism draws on. Okay, so constructivism draws on the developmental work of Piaget. So we know so very renowned persons, so Piaget and Kelly and Tommy Fosnot. These are the great people of the world. So to describe that one in proficient way. So and the 4 principles. So in total we are having 4 principles. Okay, so before I describe, so on like you can see on my screen, so before that I would like to describe their thoughts or Piaget's single thought. So 4 principles. So learning in an important way. So like we all are thinking that learning is an important way, depends on what we already know. So in 4 principles, so a little bit earlier I have described about the constructivism. So now we are reading about 4 principles. Like, okay, the first one, so learning in an important way depends on what we already know. New ideas occur as we adopt and change our old ideas. So like little bit earlier I said regarding the matter. So first point is, as we adopt and change our old ideas. So we are having that child is having his new using older ideas. Like I said, in class 5, 6 he learned something and using that one in class 7 and class 8 and making his new idea. So just mixing them up. old ideas. Learning involves inventing ideas. So learning involves now that person is inventing new ideas rather than mechanically accumulating facts. So that child is not just having some kind of information. So now he is able to utilize that information. So he is not now accumulating them. He is able to use them also. So meaning or meaningful meaning occurs through rethink old ideas. So whenever that person is uh, thinking, whenever he thought that simple matter earlier in simple way, but now he is having extra information. So he is adding them up and thinking in different way and coming to new conclusion, and that student is coming to new conclusion about new ideas which conflict with old ideas. So now it is proven that that child is having new ideas which conflict with older ideas. And a productive constructivist classroom. Okay, so a productive constructivist classroom then consists of learners centered activity. So a teacher, in a classroom, if learners, so our teachers or constructivism is totally involved in child-centered way. So active instructions, one teacher must be in active instruction. In such a classroom, the teacher provides students with experience that allow sorry. Okay, I turned off because I was hearing some kind of sound which was really disturbing me a lot. Okay, so far, so we talked about the principles, and so as I have said, it is totally student centric. So depending upon student, so we built that one about their knowledge, about their behavior, about their new ideas. So students construct new understanding as that students is having new information. So whatever they already know, and they are using their prior knowledge which influence what a new or modified knowledge they will construct from the new learning experience. So in total, they will have new learning experience from that class. Even a constructivist also be careful about the child's action. So whether that class or students are active rather than passive. So if a child is active, so his realization would be totally difficult, and that person or that student would think in complex way. So whenever he would receive that message, that student may need different experiences to advance to different levels of understandings. So as a focus on student-centered learning may well be the most important constructivist work. Okay, so in simple way, I have described earlier, and there we can see some okay psychologists, and these are the world's renowned persons. Like earlier, I said, um, Piaget, Jean Piaget, Lev Vygotsky, and John Dewey. So constructivism is not a new concept. It has been around since the turn of the century and was supported by like John Dewey, Jean Piaget, Lev Vygotsky. So before I go ahead, so I want to share one information, and that one is, so whatever we are discovering or inventing, whatever we are doing, so everything is around us, everything is in around us. We are just exploring that one in different way. So like that only, this psychologist, philosopher, so and political activist, so we can say them, and they were thinker of the society. So as society is constructed, including many things, and one of them is very important, and that one is a child. Because today's today today's child is in future a man or a woman, so they will just run the whole society. For that we have to think a lot, because future depends upon them. Okay, let's know about John Dewey. So John Dewey was an American psychologist, philosopher, educator, social critic, and political activist. And after that, John Piaget, who is very renowned person, so who described upon his based on his view of psychological development of children, such that a child constructs understanding through many channels. So a child construct understanding through many channels, such as like okay, many channels. What are the channels, or what are the ways by using they our children our child uses, like reading, listening, exploring, and experiencing his or her environment. So these are the tools by which they gain knowledge. And after that, Lev Vygotsky. So he was a Russian psychologist and philosopher, and was associated with the society closely. So he believed that he had a strong belief in societal and cultural life, and in social context, because without social context our existence is just nothing. So social context played a very huge role in his life, as he knew that without society there is just nothing. So he always wanted to explore something new, bring which will bring new to the society, new thought. Okay, and so we came to know about these philosophers who were very renowned in his own work. Okay, so now, so I have said earlier also, like constructivism is child-centered. Constructivism is child-centered rather than curriculum-based. So there is said, I did not talk about curriculum based, that word I did not use. So constructivism is child centered rather than curriculum based. So in curriculum, we always make curriculum, and one sixth standard student must have that kind of qualities or that kind of knowledge. We always, as we are all teachers, we always make that kind of curriculum. So, but constructivism is not upon that matter. It doesn't follow about the curriculum. It always focuses about the knowledge, which is something new, something upgraded, something complex, something deeper, which a student or a child uses to enhance his knowledge by using previous knowledge, and which he or she takes now. So that constructivism focuses on knowledge construction, not knowledge reproductions. They don't reproduce knowledge. They always, or yes, students always just construct their knowledge, just like a building. So I'm having like a two-story building. So again, I'm having some kind of new knowledge and making three-story building, and again knowledge, then four-story building. That way I keep building up my floors. So that way, that constructivist think about the knowledge which a student or a child gains through constructivism. So constructivism is a belief that one constructs knowledge from one's own experience, realizations, perceptions, etc. So in that category, so if in a class we are having like foreign students, so everyone is having same thought, same view, same perception, same realization, it's not going to happen. So they will have their individual perceptions, individual feelings, individual experience, individual realization. So that would be totally different. And I must say one thing, that if we are having any flexible mind, or a constructivist must be very flexible. If a constructivist is not flexible, he is not able to give or to to pass over the knowledge or the information. He is not able to carry over the information. So that constructivist must be flexible facilitator of knowledge, so that whenever someone is having knowledge, he or she doesn't have to think in difficult way, or that that child can take any information in easy way. So I would like to repeat some points. So what Jean Piaget says, that the learner is advanced through three mechanisms. The learner is advanced. So according to him, a learner or a student is able to have some knowledge using by some mechanisms. Even we always So if we use our general knowledge, so how we take information, so even we can think it's very simple. So like we are having our eyes, our skin, our nose, our ears, so even our sense. So that way also we accumulate or we have knowledge. So just only these things Jean Piaget explored in a different way and described to the society in different way for the development of the society. That's all. Okay, let's see. So what Piaget said. So he put first point. So first mechanism according to Piaget is assimilation. So assimilation. So meaning of like assimilation. So whenever we are having new experience, we are having new experience into an existing mental structure. So which is also known like schema. So that means someone is having new experience. Like I described whenever I defined meaning of constructivism over there. I said, so when someone is having sort of knowledge and he is using that knowledge and someone else came here and gave some other information. So his previous or existing knowledge, he is using his existing knowledge to receive his new knowledge. To receive his new, okay, and he is receiving new knowledge. So that is what called assimilation. In the realm of psychology, there is one term, and that term is schema. In the field of psychology, that term is used, which is used by Piaget. And after that, accommodation. So accommodation, as we use in general way, meaning of accommodation, someone is living, okay, someone is staying somewhere. So that is what we know. Exactly the same meaning is used in the field of psychology too. Like you can see on the screen is written, revising an existing schema. So that means existing knowledge and previous knowledge and the new knowledge. Revising an existing schema because of new experience. So revising an existing schema because of new experience. He is having new experience. So we as know, so 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2, previous knowledge or existing knowledge and new knowledge, and they together mixed up, 1 and 1 together mixed up, and they created number 2. So that is what accommodation. And number 2 is totally new idea, new thought. Even we in our daily life always use that one. So we are, whenever we are having 1,000 rupees, we are thinking in different way, and whenever we are having 2,000 rupees, we are thinking in different way. So it changes totally our perception, our thought. And the third one is equilibrium. So in equilibrium, so what we do, so we always balance that information, like seeking cognitive stability through assimilation and accommodation. So cognitive stability, so meaning of cognitive, so that means when a child is having new knowledge based on pre-existing knowledge is called cognitive knowledge. So that child or that learner or student must seek cognitive stability. How? Through assimilation. So having new information or receiving new information and putting them all for the utilization. So these are the three things Jean Piaget said. So first one is assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium.